Hello and welcome back to the Rebuild Recovery podcast for 2026. This is not a podcast about how just to get clean. This is a podcast about rebuilding a life that is worth staying clean for. My name is Hayden Thorne, and today we're going to start off the year with something that will either confront you or free you. And the title of my podcast today is Recovery Will Never Work in an Unhealed Man. Nope, never. So you can stop using, you can stop drinking, you can follow structure, you can build routine, you can hit the gym, you can attend meetings, but if you don't actually heal, your recovery will eventually crack. Let me say something that most recovery spaces avoid. I want to tell you, you have massive potential, real potential, not motivational poster potential, not one day maybe potential, untapped, undeniable, uncomfortable potential. And the reason you feel restless, anxious, flat, angry, or disconnected is not because something is wrong with you. It's because something in you knows you are not living at your full potential. That discomfort is not pathology. It is the pain of living beneath who you could be. When you were using, you felt that ache, that frustration, that quiet rage at yourself when no one is around and you were all alone. You did not hate yourself because you drank or used. You drank because you hated who you'd become. You knew you were capable of more. You just did not know how to face the gap between who you were and who you knew you could be, so you numbed it. Then you got sober and things improved. You got clarity, structure, momentum, trust from others, but underneath the pressure remained because sobriety just removes the anesthetic. It does not heal the wound. Sobriety sharpens awareness. It turns the volume up on the thought you drowned out. It exposes the nervous system that never learned how to feel safe. And this is where men get confused. They think recovery is not working. No, recovery is just finally telling you the truth. The noise did not come back because you failed. The noise came back because you stopped numbing it. An unhealed man can be sober and still live in survival mode, still bracing, still reacting, still scanning every room for a threat. Clean on the outside, chaos on the inside. He can follow all the rules, he can show up, he can look stable, but under pressure, the old wiring still runs the show. And that's not freedom. That is containment with a time limit. And when pressure does build, the body searches for relief. It always does. Not because you lack character, because biology outruns willpower every single time. This is why recovery built only on abstinence can create fragile men. Men who look disciplined on the outside, but are internally brittle. One relationship breakdown, one financial hit, one identity threat, and the old system lights up. The same shame, the same fear, the same nervous system that learned in early life that it was not safe. The substance leaves, the wiring stays. That is the problem. Not your motivation, not your commitment, your healing. Most men don't relapse because they love drugs and alcohol. They relapse because they never healed the part of themselves that escaped in the first place. They never healed the nervous system that lives in fight or flight mode. They never healed the shame that whispers that they're not enough. They never healed the story that says success is temporary and collapse is coming. So when life does get heavy, the body chooses what it knows: relief. If recovery is ever going to work, healing has to come first. Not as a bonus, not as a maybe, not as a soft optional extra, as the foundation. And healing is not vague, it's practical, it's structured, it's uncomfortable. It looks like counselling when you'd rather avoid talking. It looks like sitting with a therapist and unpacking what you've buried. It looks like journaling when your head is chaotic instead of scrolling. It looks like breath work when your chest tightens instead of reaching for a distraction. It looks like strength training when your body feels flat. It looks like hard conversations instead of silent resentment. It looks like naming your fear instead of acting out on it. Healing is work. And most men avoid it because it threatens the identity that they built to survive. You were not built to survive. You were built to expand. And here is the brutal reality. When potential is suppressed, it turns inward. It becomes anxiety, it becomes anger, it becomes self-sabotage, and it becomes addiction. You are not addicted because you are weak. You're addicted because the energy inside you had nowhere constructive to go. Unhealed potential is dangerous. Healed potential builds. That is the difference. So if recovery will not work in an unhealed man, what actually heals him? Not theory, not slogan, practical daily work. There are 6 areas that determine whether recovery holds or collapses. Not because they're cool, it's because they regulate the system. Your body, your emotions, your mind, your nervous system, your meaning, and your relationships. If one is neglected, the whole system starts to strain. If all six are strengthened, recovery stabilizes. This is not about becoming perfect. This is about becoming regulated, because a regulated man does not need to escape. A dysregulated man always will. It happens over 6 core areas. Miss one and the system starts to strain. Ignore 2 and the cracks show. Ignore 3 and relapse becomes predictable. This is not lifestyle advice. This is a system repair. So let's move to the first one, physical. Move your body, eat properly, rest. You cannot heal inside a body that is inflamed, underslept, or sedentary. Half the cravings men experience are not spiritual weaknesses. They are the nervous system's fatigue, low sleep, high stress, poor nutrition, no movement. Your body feels unsafe and it looks for the fastest regulator it knows: drugs, alcohol, porn, food. Strength training is not about vanity, it's about regulation. Walking daily is not optional, it is a nervous system recalibration. Protein, water, sunlight, sleep, basic, unsexy, life-saving. A man who neglects his body is always closer to relapse than he thinks. Second, emotional. Feel what you feel. Most men in recovery are sober, but emotionally illiterate. They feel pressure and call it anger. They feel shame and call it frustration. They feel loneliness and call it boredom. Then they suppress it. Emotions suppressed become symptoms, and symptoms look like cravings. Healing emotionally means counselling when you would rather avoid it. It means trauma work if trauma exists. It means journaling instead of ruminating. It means naming grief, naming fear, naming shame without acting it out. You are not trying to eliminate emotion. You are trying to increase capacity to feel without fleeing. Third, psychological. Your thinking patterns matter. If your internal dialogue is violent, recovery will feel like punishment. If your story is, I always mess it up, you will prove yourself right. Cognitive work is not optional. That might mean therapy, that might mean structured journaling, that might mean challenging distorted thoughts daily, not affirmation, evidence. You catch the thought, you question it, you replace it, and reinforce it through action. Healing the mind is retraining the story that you obey, because you live at the level of your identity. And if your identity is still addict, broken, unstable, you will orbit that identity. Healing upgrades identity. Fourth, energetic. Regulate your nervous system. You cannot logic your way out of fight or flight. If your chest tightens and your heart rate spikes, you do not need a motivational speak. You need regulation, breath work, cold exposure, sauna, sunlight, reduced stimulation, lower caffeine, less scrolling, more silence. If your nervous system is constantly activated, you will always seek sedation. Healing means teaching your body that calm is safe. Because for many men, calm feels threatening. They are used to the chaos, so they create it. Healing retrains safety. Fifth is spiritual. And I'm talking about direction, meaning, faith. If your life has no meaning, escape makes sense. When a man believes he has no purpose, drugs feel like relief. When a man believes he has responsibility, escape feels like betrayal. Spiritual healing is reflection, meditation, prayer, gratitude, silence, time without distractions, asking real questions like, who am I becoming? What do I stand for? What does integrity mean for me right now? Without this, recovery becomes maintenance. With this, recovery becomes alignment. And sixth, relational. Environment decides outcomes more than motivation. You cannot heal in the environment that broke you. You cannot stabilize inside constant drama. If your circle normalizes escape, you will return to escape. Relational healings means boundaries, saying no without guilt, removing yourself from high-risk dynamics, choosing mentors, choosing accountability, choosing proximity to men who live with standards. Isolation kills recovery, but so does chaotic connection. Healing chooses quality over familiar. Now here is the key. These 6 areas are not self-improvements. These are system repairs. When your body is regulated, your cravings weaken. When your emotions are processed, your pressure drops. When your thoughts are disciplined, your identity stabilizes. When your nervous system is calm, your impulse control strengthens. When your life has meaning, your escape routes lose power. When your environment supports you, your baseline shifts. Recovery stops being a fight because the unhealed man becomes healed. This is why it did not stick before. You removed the substance, you did not repair the system. So when stress hit, the system defaulted. This time, if you do this work, it will hold. Not because you are stronger, because you are more stabilised. Recovery does not fail because men lack desire. Recovery fails because healing was skipped. And healing is uncomfortable. Again, it means counselling. It may mean revisiting childhood patterns. It means admitting fear. It means apologising. It means writing down things on a night when you'd rather just distract. It means saying no to old environments. It means building a routine that you protect like oxygen. It means choosing growth over ego. That is healing. Recovery keeps you alive. Healing makes you stable. Purpose makes you dangerous in a good way, and a healed man does not need to escape. He builds, he leads, he protects, he expands. Recovery finally works because there is nothing left to run from. And that is where I leave you. I leave the responsibility up to you. If your recovery has not held, it is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that healing is unfinished. So finish it. And recovery will stop feeling fragile. It will simply hold. And if this episode hits you, share it with a bloke who needs to hear it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Rebuild Recovery podcast. And check me out on Facebook, Hayden Thorne. Remember this, recovery never will hold in an unhealed man. Heal the system, regulate the chaos, build the man, because this is what actually makes recovery stick. And I'll see you on the next episode.